Bitcoin is about to experience a huge movement because the next FOMC meeting starts in just 1 day and 2 hours. Right now the probabilities are at 96% that there is going to be no change in interest rates. However, there's just probabilities and we have an exclusive information where the Bitcoin will move next, so make sure that you watch this video signal before the next FOMC meeting starts.
My crypto paradise.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is someone from My Crypto Paradise. It's Tuesday, welcome back, let's update Bitcoin. In the latest videos, firstly, we have been able to predict correctly that the Bitcoin will start move towards these resistance levels, and then we have understood that with the highest probability, we will start moving down. In the latest video that I've recorded for you 2 days ago, I've updated you about the price action, and then we understood that, okay, with the highest probability, we will really start moving towards these support levels. As you can see right now, we are 4.4% down, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit more even. And the question is right now, the FOMC meeting is around the corner. Where's the Bitcoin will move next? You know that the volatility is coming. Usually during the FOMC meetings, there is price spikes in both directions before the next real move gonna take place. And in this video, we will go in depth of everything and try to understand what's the price action with the highest probability gonna look like. And we will start on ultra high time frame, ladies and gentlemen. Very quickly we will go through this. What's important to understand right now is that the weekly close happened almost 2 days ago, and we will analyze the candle. Okay, we will analyze this candle. This is very important candlestick pattern that can tell us a lot. Before we do that, let's zoom out a little bit and let's understand the current context of the market, ladies and gentlemen. You know that after we have finished the impulse, we are right now starting a corrective pattern. I'm updating you about this since January 30. I'm telling you, the next movement is going to be down towards $44,000. I told you two most important levels, $77,000, then a pullback, and then $44,000. So what happened is that we have hit the $77,000. Now we are having a pullback, and the question is, are we about to start moving down towards that $44,000 now? Let's analyze and let's understand firstly how bearish or bullish are we on weekly. Is this price action higher? This pullback higher? Is it bullish? Can we start a new trend from here? Let's understand it. First of all, let's take a look at the newly created candle, ladies and gentlemen. This is called shooting star, and it is not bullish candle, it is actually pretty bearish candle. Usually you see shooting star at the top of the bull trends, and it signals that a reversal in the opposite direction is around the corner. Sometimes it's also called gravestone doji, ladies and gentlemen, probably because when you see this gravestone doji candlestick pattern, it means that the bulls will be put in a grave very soon. And right now we can see this candlestick pattern on a weekly time frame, but also on a daily time frame, ladies and gentlemen. I've updated you about this in the previous video. That was also one of the reasons why we have shifted our view on low time frames, about which we will be talking very soon, bearish as well. But let's go back to ultra high time frame, ladies and gentlemen, to our weekly time frame right now, and let's analyze this candle a little bit more. So not only this is a gravestone doji, aka shooting star candlestick pattern, it also closed below $95,000. And you know that I wanted to see that closing below 93, ladies and gentlemen, but 95 from the lower time frame perspective, as you know, was one of the very important resistances as well. So although it is not as bearish as if it would close below that $93,000, it is still quite bearish, together with understanding that we have this bearish candlestick pattern that usually is being formed at the top of the bullish trends, ladies and gentlemen, and adds up to the probabilities of an incoming change of the trend. But we are right now retesting with this candle the $93,000 that was previously acting as a resistance, right now a support. And the question is, are we about to break this support from the current market price? Let's analyze. For that, we will need to zoom in a little bit. Let's shift our focus on a daily time frame right now. What can we see right here on our high time frame chart is that we got rejected quite perfectly from the territory of the previous first and second wave, from the point of control, ladies and gentlemen, that was previously acting as a support, and right now we have turned it into a resistance. Together with that, as you know from the previous videos already, we have created here the shooting star pattern as well, that increased the probabilities for us to be able to say with the higher probability that we will start to move down other than we will start move to the upside. The move lower, thanks to this, came up up with a higher probability, ladies and gentlemen. Together with that, we are breaking through this channel, ladies and gentlemen, where we have been trading while we created the zigzag formation, right? And breaking below this channel actually increases the probabilities that the zigzag formation already was completed, and right now we are starting a new trend. Okay, so just to get you back into the context, this ABC zigzag formation in which we have been trading for a couple of weeks basically created for us the B wave of the zigzag we are making on ultra high time frame. So basically this was our A wave from the top of $109,000. This was our A wave, then a B wave, and with the highest probability we are right now starting a C wave that will take us towards $44,000. Actually, the A wave started at $105,000 because you understand we have created the final fifth wave of the impulse that we created since $19,500 inside of an ending diagonal, and the ending diagonal had fifth wave truncated that finished at around $106,000. So from here we have started the A wave, right? As if you have been subscribed in this channel, you know that I have been predicting for you every single sub wave, and after that, after we have finished the A wave right here by creating the final fifth wave, we have started the B wave of a higher degree zigzag formation that was this one. And right now, because we are breaking from the channel and there is lots of indications, one of them is also the shooting star, it seems like we are starting the final C wave lower, but it's not gonna be a straight line down. We are gonna have a complicated price action, and I will be updating you in these videos about the upcoming waves. Right now, let's finish analyzing this high time frame chart, ladies and gentlemen. If we take a look at oscillators, we can see that this bearish divergence that we are seeing on the RSI indicator is playing quite well so far. As you know, the price action here is making lower high, however the indicator is making higher high. That is a classic example of a hidden bearish divergence, right? When the price action is making lower high but the indicator is making higher high, it basically means the momentum is there but somebody is distributing on the price action. In this case, we believe that it's the big boys that distributing and doesn't let the price to create a higher high the same way the RSI indicator did it. Also, if we take a look at the MACD indicator, we can see that we are right now creating a bearish cross right here, which is definitely a bearish sign, increases the bearish probabilities, and it gives an invitation to the bears to start taking over. If we take a look at the volume right now, ladies and gentlemen, we can see that the price action is still having a slope lower, and we are about to start breaking through this triangle very soon. So volume is gonna come and the Bitcoin is about to experience a huge movement. The probabilities are that once the volume comes, it's gonna be used to start breaking through these support levels, ladies and gentlemen, just because of all the indications we are having so far on the ultra high time frame and on the high time frame chart, together with other indications that I will be talking about in a minute. Right now, also what we can see is that we are breaking from that channel, but we are also retesting that breakout as we are moving higher. And I do believe that because this key support zone that I will be talking about at around $93,000 that is right now currently synergizing with the moving average is gonna take a little bit of time before we can break through it. So the question right now remains, are we about to break through it very soon, or will we need to start moving higher first before we start attacking the support zone one more time? Let's analyze the price action, how it's gonna look with the highest probability on the lower time frames, ladies and gentlemen, and then we will get back to this daily time frame to adjust the highest probability incoming price action. So let's zoom in right now on 4-hour time frame. What we can see right here is clearly that we are getting rejected beautifully from the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level that I have been talking about in the previous videos. We are breaking through the channel. We are already below the moving average orange trend line 20, and also when we take a look at our MACD histogram, we are creating some few important indications. First of all, the bearish divergence that I have been talking about in the previous videos when the price was making higher highs, however the histogram been making lower highs, is playing perfectly because right now we are having the correction that is usually a result of this bearish divergence. But right now we can also see that when we take a look at the price, we are creating equal lows, right? However, the indicator, the MACD histogram, is making lower lows. This is a bullish divergence, exaggerated bullish divergence that we can confirm also on the RSI indicator, ladies and gentlemen. Price action equal lows. The RSI indicator is having lower lows. Also, we are near the oversold area, ladies and gentlemen, and the momentum, the bearish momentum is decreasing, right? We are about to go to the upside and we are about to experience some bullish momentum very soon. Right now, what I want to see actually is that we will retest this channel, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see that we will retest this resistance zone. Together with that, we will increase the momentum, and what I want to see to strengthen our short positions inside of Paradise Assembly VIP based on our strategy and tactics is that the momentum will be much higher than the previous one, okay? And at the same time, the price action will be hitting this resistance zone, however, will not exceed the previous high right here that we have created at around $98,000. What that's gonna happen is that the momentum will be increasing, right? The price action as well, however, it will hit this resistance zone, potentially slightly touch with some wick the channel as well, so we will have the bearish retest. However, we will not create a higher high, okay? But the MACD histogram will be creating a higher high, and that will create a beautiful bearish divergence, a confirmation that we are really bearish on 4-hour time frame as well, and that we are ready to move lower. And this will be another beautiful opportunity upon confirmations, obviously, to create some beautiful short positions, ladies and gentlemen. And we are monitoring with the Paradise team the market 24/7. And if you are in our Paradise Assembly VIP, you know exactly that when we see the opportunity, we are reacting on that absolutely aggressively. Professional trading is not about for 100% to always know what's gonna happen next with the price. Are we gonna move up or are we gonna move down? Professional trading is about monitoring the market, understanding when you have a higher probability of winning rather than losing, and then execute on that probability and create only the best possible trades in the market, which is the only way how you can be long-term profitable. It's like a sniper waiting for the rabbit to come out from the woods and then execute only the perfect shot. The sniper is not randomly shooting into the forest, right? He's waiting what the forest is gonna give him and then he executes. The same thing we are doing as a professional traders, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what you need to do as well in your trading strategies if you want to be long-term successful. Together with that, we have a Bitcoin CME futures gap exactly at that level at around $96,000, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to see the Bitcoin CME futures to go to the upside but not filling the gap, alright? Lots of people right here will be thinking, okay, we are going higher, we are gonna close the gap. Lots of people will be opening long positions here. It will increase the momentum on the oscillators, right? That will create a bearish divergence, as we have been talking about right here, the potential scenario for confirmations for some short positions, and then the market makers, the Bitcoin whales, will actually start moving the price down and move it towards this CME futures gap that we have right here at around $92,000. I do believe that it would be a smart play, ladies and gentlemen. I would really like this play, and it would provide us with a high probability trading setups in our swing trading strategies. Let's take a look also on low time frame, ladies and gentlemen. Let's calculate the subwaves of this newly created impulse, ladies and gentlemen. That will help us again understand with the highest probability where the Bitcoin is going to move next. I do believe that we have created a first wave already. Higher degree first wave subdivides itself as every impulse into 5 smaller waves. I do believe that we have already finished that. This was the first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave finished right here. That was the higher degree first wave, ladies and gentlemen, and right now I do believe that we are about to start moving higher towards the previous support. Now it will be working as a resistance, 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, and after that we will start moving lower towards around, let me see, $89,000. That will be basically the third wave of the impulse. It will not finish there. I do believe that after that we will have a pullback inside of a fourth wave, and then fifth wave will finish right here at around $85,000. That will perfectly confluence with the bottom of the previous impulse, ladies and gentlemen. It's also an important Fibonacci retracement level, also a VPVR support, and also I will show you some important data that supports this fresh lower very very soon. Right now, what is important to understand is that on RSI indicator, we are creating on 1 hour time frame a bullish divergence. As you can see, we are having a high low. However, the price action is creating lower low. This is a classic, very strong bullish divergence, ladies and gentlemen, that supports the idea that we will right now keep moving higher towards this 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, towards around 96, might be even $97,000. The important thing is that we don't exceed the previous high for this idea to be correct and for us to be able to create the secondary wave before we start moving lower. What supports this bias is not only this bullish divergence and the current price action, but also we are having a huge liquidity above us right here. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see until around $96,400 there is loads of over leveraged short positions that have stop losses and liquidation levels right here. It works like a magnet. Usually before the next higher degree movement, we liquidate these, so then we can smoother going on a higher time frame where the liquidity is much more favorable. And from the higher time frame perspective, it's below us. Below us, I'm gonna remind it to you again, is $14 billion in over leveraged long positions waiting to be liquidated. Okay, much more positions than above us. Above us, there's only like $5.5 billion, ladies and gentlemen. So creating the domino effect, the liquidation cascade below us is much easier for the market makers. And I do believe because the price action is supporting the bias, it's going to be the next major move. And if you take a look at the liquidity, it finishes at around $85,000, the highest one. Okay, so that perfectly works with our idea that the fifth wave right here will finish also at around $85,000. And after that, this will create actually our higher degree first wave, ladies and gentlemen, and it will be the first wave of the C wave that will take us towards $44,000. So basically, I do believe that the first wave will finish right here at $85,000. Previously, it worked as a resistance. Right now, I will change the color into a green. After that, obviously, we will have a second wave that will probably retest $93,000. Then we will have a third wave, fourth wave, and the final fifth wave might be extended and take us towards $44,000. If I zoom in even closer so we can go deeper inside of the price action, we will see right here on 15 minutes time frame the previous impulse that finished the previous fifth wave, ladies and gentlemen. We had first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave right here that finished. Thanks to that, we have been able to understand, okay, we are starting to move lower, and right now I do believe that we have finished this lower degree impulse because we have been already calculating the subwaves right here on 1 hour time frame, ladies and gentlemen. And I do believe that with the highest probability right now we are starting a corrective mode pattern towards this resistance, retesting this resistance at around $96,000. So it can either be a zigzag, so that would look something like this, but it can be also a double zigzag or something similar to that. However, I do believe that it will be either a zigzag, triple zigzag, or double zigzag right here, because all of these are deep corrections, ladies and gentlemen. And if you take a look at the previous impulse, okay, and where it had the secondary wave top, which was right here at around that $96,000, if we will go up here, it will already be a deep correction, ladies and gentlemen. So it can either be a zigzag, double zigzag, or triple zigzag, because if we will create a flat or triangle, it will be a shallow but long correction, but will not actually retest that $96,000. And I do believe if we want to have enough energy to start moving lower, we will need to have a deep correction, ladies and gentlemen. So I do believe the price action might look something like this. I do believe it will be a simple zigzag, and after that we will start correcting lower. So basically the price action can look something like this with the highest probability, ladies and gentlemen. I will be updating you in the upcoming videos about what's about to happen next, how the market is unfolding, etc. If you are not in our Paradise Simile VIP, I do wish you to have a proper trading strategies and tactics so you can make money on these trading ideas. Let's go back very quickly to the daily time frame, ladies and gentlemen. So basically from the daily perspective, based on what we have understood right now, how the price action might look like is something like this, right? So this is gonna synergize very well on the daily time frame as well, because we will be retesting the channel, this resistance as well, and then we will start moving to the downside, ladies and gentlemen. So I do believe this is the highest probability play at the moment. Together with that, we also see on USDT dominance very quickly that if if this wave was the final fifth wave, truncated one, we are right now creating a new impulse higher, okay? And right now we are fighting with this resistance right here. And as you know, the impulses are subdividing itself into 5 smaller waves, and I do believe that this is a perfect time to correct, retest this trend line, and after that start to move higher. And if the USDT dominance goes down, it means that the stable coins are flowing into the crypto market. That would support the price action of Bitcoin going higher. And once I see a confirmation that this ascending trend line is holding well, it will be another probability points for our bearish outlook right now. As I said, I will keep you updated, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, trade safe, and I will see you next time. Cheers.